Hi folks, I'm Dave,
And I'm Ben.
and we are your tutors for the day, I guess. You're stuck with us. So good to see good to see you. Right, so we're quite excited because this is the first of our actual workshop videos. So me and Ben, we go over the country to different schools, different science fairs, and we teach people about coding in these sort of workshop projects. And that's what we're going to do in this upcoming video series. We're going to start simple.
Yep.
And we're going to work up the chain, getting more complicated with each video until we're looking at some really sort of advanced techniques. So stay with us. This project, I'm sure, will have heard about this. Even if you've got no idea what programming is, you've probably heard the words "Hello World" both together in that way. If not, go and look it up. It's a very, very historic sort of program. I'd say like the most famous computer program.
Definitely up there.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? It's got to be. It was written quite a long time ago, but it has always remained as like a mainstay of learning to program. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough already. Then let's just get right in there and start a project.
One more thing I do want to add though, just to ramble on a bit longer.
Yeah.
You can see it behind us, the screen. We can see it over here.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, if you see us looking over here, we're not trying to be rude. We're not trying to ignore you. Our screen is over here, and it's the one that you can see behind us. There's probably going to be some confused pointing, but bear with us. Yeah, you might confuse it for some elaborate sort of dance. Not a very good one either. Right, with that all said and done, Ben, if you head into the programs section of FUZE right there, and if you select the new project icon, now there are more ways to do that than just in the way I've showed you, but that's a very fast way. Now that's quite creepy, Ben. You are typing perfectly whilst maintaining eye contact. That's quite impressive. Thank you. Okay, I'm genuinely scared, just so you know. Right, so we put in the name of our project, we put in the author, and then finally we have a description box to fill in. We're just going to fill these up with some random things because it's not too important. I do encourage you to get your Nintendo Switch out. If you've got FUZE, go along with this project, start changing it, do whatever you want with it. That's the idea, really, is for you to be going along with us. Feel free to pause the video at any time and write whatever we've written. But this is not going to be a very long project, so I think you'll be able to keep up just fine. First thing, actually, Ben, can I get you to increase the font size on that text there? Because I don't think people will be able to see quite clearly. And this is only going to be like 4 lines, I think, by the end.
Yeah.
Maybe 5. So I think, we'll be able to fit it all on screen. 6 or 7 lines. Yeah, nice and easy. It's not a big, long project. Okay, right. First things first. Hello World is a project which prints text on the screen of a computer. So we're not printing something out on a printer, on some paper. We are in fact printing stuff on the screen. And to do that, I've said the word enough times now, we need the print instruction. Now, Ben, what have you just done there? What did you just do? You just typed print. You just typed print. Something happened when you put that T on the end. If you just take that off, so the word is white right now, and as soon as Ben finishes spelling the word correctly and he puts the T, it turns blue. Now, this is an important feature in FUZE. It's just called syntax highlighting, and it's used to make your code more readable. So different things in FUZE appear in different colors, and you'll see this color quite a lot. If you write the name of a function in FUZE, and we're not going to go into great detail yet about exactly what I mean by a function, think of it now just as an instruction that does something. We will go into more detail on subsequent videos, but for now, it's just kind of unnecessary information to just get you up and running. So when you see a word turn this color blue, you have written the name of a function, and there's something else that functions need before they can get started. Could you put those in for me there? Nice pair of brackets. Now, these are round brackets. You might see us use different types of brackets, like square brackets or curly brackets, but you're not going to see us use those until the later videos because they are used in more advanced sort of different types of techniques. Where are we then? So we've got print, we've got our brackets. The reason why functions have brackets on the end is because a lot of them need some information to actually do something. So for instance, print. We need to tell it what we are going to print on the screen. And this information goes in the brackets. Now, even if we do not need any information, because there are some functions like that, You still need the brackets, and this is just for consistency, so that everything is always the same. If it's a function, it's got brackets. That is always true. It's never not the case.
Yep.
Famous last words, touch wood. Right, so Ben, let's put our text into the print function brackets. Now, you're going to have to use another one of our cheeky symbols, known as the speech mark. Now, the speech mark tells FUZE that we are entering a particular type of data. And that type of data is called a string. Now, don't think of a piece of string straight away there, although there's some similarities. What it means is it's just a series of text characters, right? So like B-E-N, there's a string. D-A-V-E, there's a string. Even if you had a number in there, that also could be a string. If it's in speech marks, it's a string. Now you'll notice then what we're going to do here, because we've got some different highlighting going on there. The exclamation mark's in red, the text is in white. I think we're missing something here.
Missing the end speech mark.
We're missing the end speech mark. So as soon as you put that in there, we've got our highlighting comes into play, and it says this is a string, and it tells you that with this slightly darker shade of blue.
Very nice shades of blue.
They are two very nice shades of blue. We happen to like blue and red and pink, actually, which is why everything that you'll see in FUZE is those colours. Oh, and grey. Big fans of grey. Hence all the grey. Right. I think we've got a program here, but actually we're missing something. Now, this is one that I do actually want to mention a little bit in detail because it's not that obvious. If it's your first time using FUZE, or really just your first time programming, this might be something that you need to know. Now, computers will only ever do what you tell them. They'll never do something on their own without being told, even though it feels very much like they do that on a day-to-day basis. We're always saying it at the office, how much computers anger us. But in theory, they should never do anything on their own. Now, when we write the word print, it's a bit like if I'm saying to Ben, think of the words hello world.
Yes.
Don't you say them. Don't. Okay, now say them.
Hello world.
There you go. Two separate instructions. One to prepare the words and one to actually say them. They're two different things. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with our print line. Now, print just prepares the words, prepares what we want to actually put on screen, but it doesn't put it on screen. We need a different function to do that. It's called update, and
it goes the first lighter blue again.
Yep, we've got that nice function blue syntax highlighting there. We do not need anything in these brackets, Ben, because update is a function, it needs brackets, but it doesn't need any information. It just sends to the screen whatever is in its memory. Okay, I think that's about covered that. We've got a complete program, just 2 lines. Let's run it and see what we get. Did you see that? Blink and you will miss that one. Okay, this is another case where it needs a little bit of explanation. It might seem a bit strange for a first-time user. Computer programs happen incredibly quickly, and this is how games actually are even possible. When you're playing a video game, you are actually going through sometimes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of instructions all happening every single second. And they have to happen incredibly quickly, otherwise your games would be a bit rubbish. And sometimes we have to deal with this, you know, it's sort of for different reasons. But yeah, it's a case that when FUZE finishes a program, it just returns back to the code editor. So when it has finished this program, it just goes straight back to the editor, and this program happens incredibly quickly. So we're just sending our word to the screen, and then that's it. We're just returning back to the editor with nothing else. You can tell that it is working, though, because the FUZE save icon comes up in the top right left. You just pick the one that it is. Yeah, my left, your right. Yes. That's right, left. Yes, if you see that icon, it means that the program has saved, it has successfully ran the program, but we're missing something. Now, I want to use our first super important coding concept. What is it then? Do you remember from all those years ago? I'll help you.
Is it a pineapple?
It is definitely a pineapple. It's not a pineapple. It is something called a loop. The pineapple. It's called a loop. And we use this concept, we use this technique in programming to make things happen again and again and again and again. And actually, We need it almost everywhere. Every single video game uses loops. Every major sort of program that really does something uses loops. And if you know how to use them, then you are leveling up. So loops consist of two things. We need a beginning and an end. And everything in the middle is in our loop. It's going to keep happening. Now, Ben, we're going to need 2 lines for this. We need one at the very top, and we need one at the very bottom of our program. The first word to be right is the word loop. Now, that has turned red. So
that has turned red.
This has turned red.
That has not turned red. Because you can't see that.
No, but it has. It technically has. They've both turned red. That one has turned red, and that tells us that this is not a function, but it's in fact a keyword. It's different to a function. It does not need brackets. Keywords are things like loop, repeat, that you're about to see in a second when Ben writes that word on line 4. Things like if, for, while. These sorts of commands are called keywords, and they will appear in red in FUZE. Okay, we have our completed loop. This should just keep doing this again and again and again. Let's see it working. Okay, right. So it's different now.
Yes.
We've got now, it looks to me like it has stopped here, because, you know, it's filled up the screen on the x-axis. It's just sort of filled up. Has it stopped though, then? Because it looks like it has. But it hasn't, has it? It hasn't.
In fact, it's still going.
It is still going. Yonder! It's getting really small, probably in like Greater Manchester by now. That's quite fast. So what we're getting at here really is that even if it looks like it has stopped, it's actually not. It is still going. It's just that it only has so much screen space to actually use. But the computer doesn't know if something's on the screen or not. It's just carrying on, happy as Larry, printing it wherever it can. We haven't got any code to say, go to the next line or print it in a different place or something like that. Now that's what we're actually about to do here in our next edit to the program. We're going to change our print function into something called print at. So we just need to add the letters A and then T, and this will change the function. Now you might have noticed there when Ben put the letter A, it went white, doesn't recognize it. As soon as we put the letter T, it knows that function and it highlights it accordingly. Now print at needs different information. Now we can't just say print at this word. Doesn't really make any sense, right? We need to tell it where we're actually printing. And this will come in the form of 2 numbers, one to tell us which column we want the letters to appear in, and the other one to tell us which row we want the words to appear on. So, Ben, can you just put 2 numbers in there? Just pick 2 random numbers, I don't mind. Whatever you like, whatever takes your fancy. 49, what a number. And 20, another brilliant number. Fantastic choices. Now you're going to need another comma there, I believe. Yeah, we need commas in the function brackets to separate out the bits of information. And you might hear us refer to these pieces of information as arguments. It's a bit of a weird word to use when you first. Not. Yes, it is, Ben.
No, it's not.
I disagree. See, we don't actually argue. we get on well. We don't argue. Yeah, we do. No, we don't. I'll argue with myself, apparently. Yeah. So, okay, we've got our print at complete. We are going to print our words at the 49th column on row number 20. So this should be sort of quite far over here and sort of far down. Very nice. It's almost like you knew it was going to be almost in the middle of the screen there, Ben. That's good stuff. Okay, so if we change these numbers, all we're doing is just moving the location that we are printing our words at. Now, we can do something here in our loop, because we're constantly doing this. We're just saying, print it at this place, print it at this place. And if it's the same numbers every single time, we're just going to see it in the same place again and again. But what if we were to change those numbers while the loop is happening, maybe using our random function? Let's see what Ben comes up with here. Random is another function in FUZE which is used to select a random number out of a given number of options. So if Ben puts a number in these brackets, what's he going to go for this time? Oh, the suspense is killing me. 72. So we're saying choose a number out of 72. But there's something interesting about that, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah.
We'll never get 72. Why is that?
Because computers will always start counting from 0.
Always. No matter what. It goes 1.
No, it doesn't.
Well, that one just fell over instantly, didn't it? It goes 0. I can count, by the way, I promise. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc., and so on. So when we say random 72, the options are really 0 to 71. And that is 72 options in total. Ben, have I got that right?
Yes, that is.
Oh, thank the Lord. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the Y position, the rows. Just choose another random number and we'll see what we get. Now let's remember this. Every single time we're going around the loop, it is reading those functions again and again, and it's choosing new random numbers. Very nice. Get the 42 in there. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So now we are randomly choosing a new row and column upon which to start printing. It's going to get quite confusing eventually. It doesn't look like English anymore. It's really cool, actually. I do like how that looks. Just sort of letters all over each other.
Cool. Yeah.
Very confusing. Right, but we're not using this part of the screen very much, and it's in black and white, which is a little bit dull.
I mean, I like it.
Well, it is up to you. I mean, if you do like the program this way, by all means, leave it. But I like vibrant colours, so I want to use some colour in this program. And we use the ink function to do this. That's ink, I-N-K, just like if you're writing ink. And in the ink brackets, we can either put the name of a colour. We can say, give me red letters, or give me FUZE pink. Nice choice. Very, very nice choice. FUZE blue, another great choice, Ben. Let's actually see what that looks like. Let's just bask in the glory of this shade of blue. It's absolutely gorgeous. Right, but we can also put a number. And if we can put a number, that means we can use our random function to give us a random number. So let's see what we get. I think we have about 120 colours. Don't hold me to that. It might be more, actually. I think it probably is more. But let's just put 120. Let's see what we got. So now we should be getting different colours every single time. That looks nice. It looks better. It looks a bit more fun. I mean, black and white was all good, but come on, you can't deny that does look more fun.
That does look more fun.
There you go. Spoken like a true genius. Okay. But we can make this a bit better. I think that it's a little bit, like I said, we're not using this part of the screen. We need to expand our range of random positions that we're choosing from so we can actually get access to this whole portion of the screen here. And have you got any other ideas, Ben? What else could we do for this?
Well, they're all the same size. We can make some a bit bigger.
We could, we could start randomly changing the size. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. In fact, let's do that first, actually. Do you remember the name of the function for that one? Font size? It is not font size. And you can tell. You can tell because it has not highlighted in blue. It's not a function. But text size
I always get them confused.
I mean, it used to be font size in the old version of FUZE, and now it's text size. So this is just a number, again, and this just tells us how tall the tallest of our letters will be in the number of pixels, the tiny little things that make up a screen. So we can use random here again. Any place that you can put a number, you can use random to start randomly choosing numbers. It's a very fast way of making a program a lot more interesting. So I do recommend using it a lot. 200. Nice. Let's see what we get. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. Now we're using this part of the screen up here. We've got little tiny hello worlds. We've got large hello worlds. I like this, actually. This is looking good to me. You know what? I think this is a nice place to sort of call it an end to the project. We've got colours all over the place. Hello worlds appearing everywhere. Let's see what you guys come up with. Try and make your own edits to this program and feel free to leave comments about what you've done. Go to fuzearena.com. That is www.fuse.arena.com. The link is, of course, in the description below. And join this community of coders and post your versions of Hello World with your own changes. We'd love to see what you can come up with. I think that's about all we've got, I think, in store for this video. What are we going to do next time, Ben? What's the next video that we'll do? What do we need to look at?
Variables.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. If we look at variables next. So stay tuned. If you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, that will be absolutely awesome. But, don't do it if you don't want to. But if you did, it will be a very good decision because we're going to keep covering more advanced concepts for you to use in your own projects and your own creations and just sort of take you on this journey of understanding. So stay tuned for the next video. We'll look at variables. I've been Dave.
I've been Ben.
It's been awesome to see you and take care.